All right, and this is a review of how to factor trinomials. So I just did a video on number 73 through 76 there, and how you would do it with binomials. So you can take a look at that. But with trinomials, makes it a little simpler. Again, I have a lot of videos highlighting that there, so you don't need to go through the process. I'll do a little bit more difficult one. Like if I take a look at number 89, for example. Okay, so number 89 is y to the fourth plus 11y cubed plus 30y squared. Whenever I have any type of polynomial equation, always look for a GCF, or a greatest common factor. What can I factor out of everything to make the problem simpler? In this case, I can take out a y squared from the problem, leave me with y squared plus 11y plus 30. And now that I've done that, I see that I have a quadratic trinomial inside the parenthesis, so I can use my what I call the X factor technique. What number goes on top is a times c, which again, as a reminder, a is the positive 1 that's invisible in front of there, b is 11, and c is 30. So a times c is positive 30. On the b goes bottom, so b goes on bottom, that's 11. All right, the right combination of numbers that multiplies to give me positive 30, adds to give me positive 11, 6 and 5, right? 6 times 5 is 30, and 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay. Now, there's a shortcut we can do, but I'll just do the whole factoring by grouping system here, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So in this case, I want to split up b to go through the factoring by grouping process. So remember that 6 and 5 that made 11? We're going to split up this 11 inside the polynomial with 6 and 5. So we're going to do it plus 6y plus 5y plus 30. And now we're going to factor by grouping. Now put these four terms in each group, and now take the GCF of the parentheses. So y squared plus 6y. I can take out a y, which leaves me with y plus 6. With the second parenthesis there, I can take out a positive 5, which leaves me with y plus 6. Perfect, the parentheses match. That's exactly what I want when I factor by grouping, so y plus 6. And then the GCFs that I pulled out go in the other parenthesis, y plus 5. All right, and then lastly, remember the y squared I pulled out at the very beginning? I have to tack that on to back to my factors to get my final answer. All right, now, like I said, there's a little bit of shortcut. Now, the shortcut only works if a is positive 1. So notice how it was at the beginning, it was y to the fourth, okay? So there was no a term per se. But if it's y squared, again, look at the front, it was an invisible 1 that I put there. So that means I can go straight for my x factor tree over here, so the 6 and the 5. And guess what? I can just write y plus 6, y plus 5. And look at that. It's the same exact parentheses I have down below. And of course, I factored out the y squared, so I'd add the y squared there. So that shortcut only works if a is positive 1. So you can do that with trinomials there. Okay. Let's do another example here. Let's do taking a look, something that's out of order. Again, 86, just make sure it's in order. Let's take a look at number 94. Just because I want to put something out there. All right, so 94. Let me go ahead and erase all this. Okay. I know OCD people, there's some extra smidgen on the screen. Okay. All right, so 94 is 8x squared plus 6x minus 2. All right, remember, I always want to, before I factor, take out a GCF. Is there anything that's in common with all the terms that I can factor out? I can factor out a 2 to start, and leave me with 4x squared plus 3x minus 1. All right, so if I take a look at this, let's do my x factor chart. And again, some of you might be saying, gosh, a is 4, not positive 1. That's correct. We can't do our shortcut with this problem. That's okay. All right, so a times c goes on top, so negative 4. On the bottom is 3. The right combination that multiplies to give me negative 4, adds to give me positive 3. Well, if I think about that here, let's think about that. Well, if I try to do 4 and negative 1, 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. 4 plus negative 1 is positive 3. There we go. But again, remember, a is not positive 1, so I actually need to go through the whole process here. So I'm going to write 4x squared. And remember, we split the 3x into 4 and negative 1. So 4x minus 1x minus 1. We're going to group the terms together. Factor out a 4x from the first parenthesis, leave me with x plus 1. Take out a negative 1 from this parenthesis, leave me x plus 1. Parentheses match, x plus 1. And then put the GCFs in the other, 4x minus 1. And remember, make sure you bring down the 2 we factored out from the beginning. All right, so that's how that's factoring trinomials. This is a process called factoring by grouping, but with the x factor chart here because it was a trinomial. And yeah, that's how you do this.